that seems a little better.
Hey guys, it's Pete from Pete for Anxiety, the Mental Health Podcast here. I want to take a quick moment before we get into today's episode and talk a little bit about a nonprofit I'm working close with called Podcast for Prevention. In case you guys are wondering what that is, it's actually a foundation that's basically trying to raise mental health awareness. If you see the code, basically text the code right across the bottom of the screen, podcast, to the phone number 44-321, then search my name right there. Guys, you donate $1. Hell, if you can, that's even better than nothing at this point. Share the information. Anything you can do, help me raise mental health awareness will be even great. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have. Guys, I want you to enjoy today's episode, all right? See you next time. Later. Welcome in, guys, to a very special episode of Pete versus Anxiety, the Mental Health Podcast, breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about enough. My guest today needs no introduction. Bryce, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hey.
What's going on, man? How you been doing?
I've been just super busy. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. By the way, guys, in case you know, me and Bryce talk on a regular basis, so it's kind of why we're so chummy at this moment. But yeah, man, it's great to have you, honestly, dude. I've been so excited about this meeting. I was like, hell yeah, dude. And then, luckily you have mental health issues too, which is great because it's always great to have other people come on and share their experiences. So you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah. So our band Pretty Suspect, we do a lot of I guess I'm like one of the main songwriters in our band, but a lot of our stuff kind of conveys like an understanding and message of how we handle different mental health issues and whatnot. Mainly mine is like a gambit of depression, anxiety, panic disorder, all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a wonderful little cocktail there.
Yeah. The depression and the anxiety kind of keep each other balanced sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Or one feeds into the other. Yeah. That's always fun too, man. Yeah. That's it. That's mine does too. Cause I have anxiety and depression and some days I'm okay. And other days I'm just like, I'm on the edge of the seat. And then other days I'm just like, I don't want to do nothing. And it's a constant cycle and it goes and it's ugly, man. It really is. And it's great to have people like yourself that, support this whole idea of us trying to get more awareness to this thing, and it's just crazy, man. It really is. Like, I think we're not educating people enough. Yeah. I don't know if you caught my interview this morning with Adriana, but she was big into that too. We were discussing that for a bit. And we were talking about like social media and stuff like that, then there's music and things like that too. Like, I'm sure it's sometimes for you when you get on stage, it's kind of like right before the stage starts. I know David from The Theorist, he was telling me that in our conversation. He was like, yeah, man, I felt it pretty bad. And he's like, after that first song, man, it's like, God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right before getting up on stage, it's always like still a little burst of anxiety, but I don't know. I guess, I've talked to a couple of friends of mine about it, like my experience and how I handle like getting on stage and prepping and everything. And I guess I do what's called masking, where I just kind of like go, all right, I'm really anxious. Bryce is really anxious, but stage Bryce, he's not anxious. So we're just gonna go on stage.
Bryce has got to turn the show on now, so here it goes.
Right.
So that's awesome, though. I remember we were talking. You got to meet some of the guys from Hawthorne Heights. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that was super cool. So yeah, we got to hang out with Hawthorne Heights just a little bit because we didn't want to be like super intrusive and whatnot. Trying to
be intrusive. I'm sure he loves getting. I'm sure they love the attention. Don't let them lie to you now. Come on. Now.
Right. Jeez. No, yeah, they were super cool. Like, JT was super nice. It was wild because I did my whole thing of like I thanked everyone at the venue as we were heading out, and we ran into them doing their loadout and offered help, and they're like, no, we got it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, hey, so JT, also just want to thank you for having us on this bill. Not sure how much involvement you had, just because you guys are big and busy and whatnot. And JT just looks at me and goes, well, we did personally pick you, so
there you go.
And then he's like, and he saw my surprise, and then he's like, I mean, don't think that we like saw you out or anything. Like you were just put in front of us.
Damn it, JT! Why couldn't you just let me live in the moment? We should have told them.
Right.
And that's so cool though, man. Because like we've seen him when we were kids. You always see him, and then it's like then you meet him, and it's like it breaks that stigma. Don't meet your heroes, or people like you like, because a lot of times those people turn to be douchey, and it's just like it's really ridiculous. It is.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of tales from other friends, bands, and whatnot, and like Aldrin.
He said, "Shout out mental illness." Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out. Aldrin's fucking good friend. His band's Vampire Champagne. They're out of Portland, super good.
Okay, I'll check them out.
He has another band, These Cursed Hands, that's super fucking good.
So, you know, it's funny you say that. So, do you have any other side projects you haven't told us about?
Me? No, not really. So
the only reason I asked that is because David with the Deers, he has a side project too. I forgot his is called Professor something.
Huh.
And he had told me that. I was like, it's always what I hear with a lot of musicians. They always have a lot of things going on. But I'm like, I get that though. You want to constantly try new sounds and see things, you know. I try to convince him to do Backstreet Boy covers. I know Spirits did one.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him to do it too. I was like, you should go do it, buddy. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we have a Vanessa Carlton 1,000 Miles
really?
cover
there you go.
that we do
I'll
live.
check that out.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do a recording of that. So
that's awesome. Hell yeah, there you go.
But
yeah, but no side something new coming down the pipes.
Yeah, no side projects yet for me. So I've had somebody reach out and was like, hey, if you want to do a side project thing, let me know. I'm like, sure, if I have time. So right now,
calm down now, Rockstar. Whoa,
it's just work and Pretty Suspect is like my main thing. So
no, I hear you, man. I work, and then this podcast is pretty much what I do too, and it's just crazy, dude. It really is, man. It takes a lot of my time up, but it's also for a good cause. I mean, I'm trying to raise mental health awareness. You know, that people hear people's stories, and a lot of times that's what inspires a lot of them to come on the show. They're like, "Oh yeah, I heard somebody say this, and now I want to come tell my story." I'm like, "Sign up." Yeah. You know, I'm booked till June. I just tell y'all right now, I'm booked till June. So if you want to be a part of the show, guys, sign up, and I will hit you up if somebody quits or somebody has to cancel or something. You know. Or, you know, like I said, I mean, it's not my fault, but they get mad at me. I'm like, I can't help it. I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you? No, I can't take that person. Oh, no. It's like they signed up for the spot. They want it. You know, my guest this morning, Adriana was like, why do you sign up for something and then show up? Welcome to the world to live in, Adriana. Welcome to the world to live. The girl, she was awesome, though. Right. She was big. She's going to get me connected with some other mental health people and stuff like that. And some other stuff. Me and her have already talked about doing a couple other collaborations of sorts and stuff like that. But there is something though I did want to talk to you. David and I were talking about doing this thing. He works with some kind of underground organization that's trying to get lesser known bands heard and stuff like that. I'll have to send you some of the information on it. What he had told me. But me and him were talking about doing like a battle of bands type thing, like having them come on, introduce themselves, get a little bit of their sound out, let people hear it. And we're thinking about doing that. I think we're shooting for the 30th December. I think so. We're thinking of 3:00 on that one. I have to confirm it with him, but I don't know if y'all want to be down with that or you want me to loop you in that one.
Yeah, if you can loop me in.
Vaughn, if you want to come on too, man, we can get you the link and you can come and let people hear your sound, man.
Hell yeah.
He's already says that's the best cover.
That's the best. Oh yeah, yep.
I think you should do Michelle Branch, honestly, but that's just me. Have him do that one, especially one from white girls.
Oh man,
just Bryce making my way downtown, just watching him start doing it.
Yeah. So that's when we do that song live. I try to do the Terry Crews thing. So in between,
oh my god, yeah,
I'm just like I have the microphone and I'm here. I'm just like,
oh, you do?
Yeah,
awesome. Yes, you got it, dude. I mean, you can't. Yeah. Terry Crews made that great as hell when he did that.
Right.
He said, "I'm in." Y'all heard it here. He's in.
Hell yeah.
Right. I'll get all the information and we'll let you know, man, for sure. But yeah. I figured it'd be something fun to do. I was going to reach out to a couple other people and see if they were down to try and get a part of it. But yeah, he said they work with like an underground coalition that helps lesser known bands get heard. And I was like, that's awesome, you know?
Dope,
and he's got more of a, what do you say? It sounds more like Blink-182. Oh, like they have a real high undertone of, you can hear it when his songs, but that was just like one of his big influences too. So what are some of your guys' influences though?
So our influences kind of go all over the place.
I love the sound regardless. I don't care, guys. If you haven't listened to these guys yet, you're missing out. Trust me. I love it.
Let me see here. I actually got a fancy list that we made. We made a playlist on Spotify. Let's see. Okay, so here's some bands. I had everyone kind of like toss some bands, different members and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
So we got Emery, we got Dance Gavin Dance, we got My Chemical Romance, we got Chunk No Captain Chunk. We got Don Broco. We got Bill Murray. Goldfinger.
Yep.
Bayside. Silverstein.
Yep.
Senses Fail. Free Throw. Yep. Devil Wears Prada.
Yep.
Scary Kids Scaring Kids. I Set My Friends on Fire. Under Oath. Taking Back Sunday from first to last. Yeah, it's a lot.
Setting My Friend on Fire. That's the greatest band name ever. Whoever created that one. Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah, that is the absolute greatest name I've ever heard in my life. Like I wish I could come with something that original.
Just like, and then their song names, things that rhyme with orange. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set My Friends on Fire is super good.
I kind of have feelings of like little No Effects in there too, a little bit on.
Oh yeah.
I'm Pretty Suspect. That one. Who's doing the vocals in that? Is that you or is that somebody
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. So
it kind of feels like No Effects a little bit. If you're comparing side by side a little bit, you'll hear that kind of undertone of the. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Colton and I. So Colton's our bassist and our other singer. We kind of go back and forth on clean vocals. So, and then I do all the screams. But yeah, we'll have some songs where like I do all the clean vocals, or Colton and I are kind of going back and forth. So
yeah,
but I know he does like the chorus on Pretty Suspect and on like Forcing a Smile. Yeah. But then on like I'm Baby, I do all the clean vocals on that one. So no, he does the chorus. He does the chorus of that. Yeah,
Really's one of my favorites.
Yeah, really is super fun. Like that's one that we kind of go back and forth to. So he does the chorus on that, and I do the verses.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, though.
Yeah,
that's great, though. So how did you guys form together, though, as a band? Do you guys know each other from high school? Is this just like? So that's a funny story that associated with this.
Kind of. So Colton and Jaron, our drummer, they are brothers. Jaron's the older brother, and then Colton's the younger brother. And then they have an older brother that is, his name is Cameron. I'm just gonna name drop Cameron for no reason. But I went to school. He was like 2 years younger than me with Cameron. Yeah. And then we had a D&D group in high school that we played Dungeons and Dragons together. So
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons ever. I've always wanted to do it though.
It's super fun.
I'm sure it is. I just never found a group that played it ever. And when I did, it was like they were so like, oh, we're far into the campaign. I'm like, okay, I just want to learn.
Right.
Why can't I just come watch, man? Why you got to be like that?
Yeah, no, our group has always been like super open. So we've gotten up to like, I think at most we had like 16 players. It was wild. It was wild.
I bet it was.
But yeah, so that's how I met the Nichols brothers. Their older brother was in our group, and then eventually he left our group, and then the two younger ones joined our group and whatnot. And then my younger brother is our keyboardist and
I saw that the other day when you were live on TikTok. My TikTok was terrible. I was trying to watch. I heard you yelling at him in the background. They can't hear you through the door, man. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
no, guys.
Yeah, that was wild. So the place we live, our walls are super thin, and he was like in the bathroom taking a shower, and then he heard that I was live on TikTok, so he was trying to talk through the wall. But
what are they doing, man? Like, like you could hear him a little bit in the background. It's like, what the hell is he doing over there? I swear the shower wasn't what I heard you saying. Are you taking it in there? Are you taking a shit in there? I'm like, what is he doing, man? I'm like, what? Like, bro, this is TikTok, Bryce. You're gonna get kicked off, man. You better stop, okay? Calm down.
Oh man. But we started making music though during the COVID lockdown times. Yeah. So we initially were just going to be a cover band and just like
what cover songs were you going to do though? Just kind of random ones completely?
Kind of like all in that vein of like those bands
in that group area. Yeah.
So we so there's like a local festival like event thing that happens every year in our hometown. We're all from a small town called Lowell in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a thing called the Blackberry Jam that's like the biggest event of that small town every year, where there's a band that always goes on and they have to play covers, and it's a 3-hour long set. Yeah. And so we're all musicians, and we were just like, let's just do that for our hometown. That seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so we spent like a good year just kind of like jamming and trying to learn 3 hours worth of cover songs and hanging out and whatnot. And then we ended up accidentally writing our own original songs. So
listen, you can do a Gene Simmons impersonation. I could just see it now. You know, Bryce on stage with the tongue out.
Right.
You know,
my tongue like all the way down. Jeez.
Right. It was like fake tongues that roll all the way down your chin. Oh my God, yes. That would 100% be him though. He'd be like, yeah. I always like that though. I like it when other bands do different genres of songs.
Oh yeah.
Like when Pop Goes Punk came out, those albums started coming out. A lot of stuff was so great to see though. And hear the different sounds and ways. And what was his name? Brian and I from Live in Somer talking. He was like, if you're not copying somebody, what are you doing these days? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of right to think about it. I mean, everybody piggybacks off everybody. And everybody's like, oh, you sound like that's the whole idea. You're trying to sound like a certain area to grab that area of people. That's why.
Yep. There's a lot of songs from Pop Goes Punk that like, I don't know what the original is. I only know what the cover is. Like Bayside did a cover of Beautiful Girls. I don't know who did that song originally. I don't even know what it sounds like.
I think I do. I'm not sure. Normally, I could recall some pretty strange. I could recall songs like that. Was it somebody did "One Hand in My Pocket" by Alanis Morissette?
Oh yeah,
you have those two, and then there was a couple others. What is it? House Like Hands did that one song that Natalie Imbruglia did, or whatever, that one hit wonder she was during the '90s and stuff like that. So I know some of them. It was just interesting to hear them do, and like all that other kind of stuff. So it's always great when people try and do that, because it always pays tribute. To me, it's paying tribute to other people. Like, oh, you're butchering a classic. Oh, it's not the same sound. Calm down already. Chill.
Yeah, no,
because like Orgy did that in the '90s, and they had what is it, Blue Monday, because New World Order originally did it, and then they did the cover song of it. My dad's like, it sounds the same. I'm like, it doesn't sound the same, but okay.
Yeah, I always like it when bands do cover and they kind of do it in their own style and stuff too. So yeah,
I'm telling you, we need somebody to do a Mighty Mighty Bosstones cover. Okay.
That'd be pretty sick. I'd be down for a Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
I could see y'all doing that for sure. Definitely doing that. Or are they? Was it Real Big Fish? I think David said his band. He did that in the school band. They did a Real Big Fish or whatever. It's like, and that's how we got on the subject. I was like, hey man, you should do some Backstreet Boys. He's like, don't test me. I'll do it. I'm like, okay, bro, go and do it. Calm down. All right, buddy. No one says you weren't going to do it. Settle down now. Settle down.
Man.
So. But my question to you though is like with your mental health, is it really affected you ever like really bad before you did anything about it, or is it like something that's just kind of there and you just kind of deal with it? Because I know the other guys don't any of the other guys deal with mental health at all?
I know Jaron has had some issues with depression and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
he has an idea then what you deal with then basically.
Yeah.
So it's good to have somebody that can relate to something that you're going through at the time, because at least you're not feeling like you're totally like alienating yourself from everybody and they think, oh, Bryce just doesn't like us. No, Bryce is doing his thing, and it's always nice to have that one person that understands how things work, because then they can let people know, hey, it's not what it seems. And if they don't understand, you can educate them a little better, like, hey, listen, this is what's going on, and stuff like that too. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. Especially if I'm just like disassociating most of the time. Like,
exactly.
I'm not angry or upset. There's literally nothing. It's just a void. Like, so.
He's like, I'm just staring at the wall. Don't worry, everybody. It's okay. The movie's playing in my head. And then, that's the whole reason this whole podcast, and I get different people from different areas and different things to come on. Is I just want people to understand that this is a problem. Like, like you and I, we deal with these issues every day, but like, it's like, how we deal with them may be different than what, say, someone else does, and it affects everybody in different ways. Like I've had people with PTSD on here tell me some crazy stories. Like one guy I talked to the first week I was on here, Teddy, he had said that it literally, for him to go out to the store and come back, it's literally just a process for him, and it's draining. And people might not understand that. And it's like it's crazy how little people know, but everybody wants to judge everybody. Be like, oh well, this or that. School shooters, it's mental health instantly. Are you sure it's what it is? Because the kid in Tennessee, his mom and dad bought him the gun, gave it to him. You know what I mean? It's like there's other factors that play into it. And I feel like mental health gets just thrown in there, and people don't understand the exact reasons or whatever, other things that are applied with it, like addiction and things like that too, and stuff like that. And a lot of times drug addiction is a result of mental health, because people are trying to deal with the symptoms they're dealing with, and they're just trying to do whatever they can to escape it, because there's some people that just have some conditions that are just crazy, like BPD, was it bipolar, borderline personality disorder. Those people, holy crap, dude, what they deal with on a daily basis. I was doing a little research, and it's insane what you find out, and it's nuts too. And what is it? Adriana and I were talking this morning. She said only 2% of people actually get out of recovery, actually make it out of recovery, versus all them people. And she said in the town she's in, there's like 14,000 people in recovery there. It's crazy, because they're like they're the recovery capital of the states or whatever. She's over there in Delray.
Oh, gotcha.
It's insane, man. I'm over here in Texas, so I've never been to Florida. I have no idea where that's at. I just let her tell me, and I just smile and I go, okay.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's great to see like people like yourself and Spirits and all them trying to do something to make, some kind of notice in there and everything like that. And it,
exactly. Because like it's important to like have that be like something that we can all kind of like accept, and like at least people who don't have any kind of mental health stuff to at least like also make them aware of it. And then to understand that it's not just something that's like weird, like people having panic attacks and stuff, like they're not just freaking out of nowhere. Like it's And
Yeah, what
like,
appears to them to be something different versus for us that are actually experiencing it. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that was one thing that was kind of big for me for a bit to adjust to, because I work with a lot of like blue collar workers and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I do industrial programming for work is
Okay.
what I do. And like, so I work with a bunch of like electricians and whatnot and stuff. And so there's a lot of people, mostly older people that I work with. They're just like, they don't understand what anxiety and panic is. So
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
if I start having like whether it's a mild anxiety attack, or there were times where I was having frequent panic attacks, and
Yeah.
I just have to like kind of disconnect and like take some time to calm down. They just didn't get it. There's like, oh, he's just, being lazy, or
Mm-hmm.
why don't you just calm down then? Like, what do you, or the most popular thing I always heard was mostly from like my managers and stuff, were like, why are you so worried about stuff? You say you're anxious. What are you worried about then?
That's
I'm
the
like,
point.
I
There's no
don't know.
reason.
Like, it's
Exactly.
just,
If I do,
yeah.
I can tell you. Shit.
Yeah. It's just my brain deciding that it didn't like something, and now it's creating a feedback loop, and I need to find a way to break it.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's crazy, man. It is. It's scary how much little people know, and it's a time to call for arms to kind of thing. It's time to call for action. People need to be more educated, and we need to start educating our youth a little more so they better understand these things.
Yeah.
Because it's just insane. It really
Yeah.
is. Because I've dealt with rage issues for 30 plus years, and it turns out that the issue is that when I was 10 years old, my mom abandoned me. And I picked up other characteristics along the way, which I learned when I talked to a 30-year veteran of psychiatry. He was telling me that since she abandoned me, now I have this need to make sure people feel like they're not alone, which I never realized that until he had mentioned that. And he had said that. I was like, well, damn, that's kind of weird, because that's what I do now. It's like I constantly tell people, listen, if you need something, hit me up. I'll respond back if you need me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I am, I do work too and everything else, but I work third shift, so I'm up all night too. So most of the time it's like, sometimes you need me, you can hit me up, or, and things like that. And it's just what I do. And I didn't realize that was the direct result of it. And until then, I had no idea, that was causing so many roots of the problems I was having. I was having real bad outbursts, getting real mad at people really easy about things. And all these things I didn't realize were all coming from that issue. That's what it was. Or I get that sense of that fear of abandonment kicked in, and I just start going to straight panic mode. And you do understand what I mean when you go to a
Yeah.
panic mode, man. You just start freaking the hell out. And for other people, it's like they're watching you and they're like, oh, this guy's just making a big deal. No, 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 no. It's not like that. And the way I best describe it to people is, you've ever seen that movie Get Out?
No.
Never seen Get Out? You
No, I
definitely
haven't
have to
seen
go
Get
see
Out.
this movie. You got to go see this movie, okay? So it's basically, the premise is that the woman is hypnotizing everybody. She's tapping on the teacup to hypnotize them, okay? So it goes to the scene near the end of the movie where he's sitting in this chair, okay? And he's like literally sitting in the chair and he's looking up, and there's a hole, but everything around it is black. And he's stuck to this chair. Like, he wants to move, he can't. He's looking up, and it's like you can see reality there, and everything else is around you. And like,
Mhm.
sometimes it get that bad that I'm looking up, and that's what it was like. You're just staring up at that wing, and you can't do nothing about it. And it's coming, and the attack is coming, and it's coming regardless of whether you're stopping or not. And I go in this complete like sense of fear. Like, I start sweating real hard, and I'm breathing real heavy, and I get real quiet, and people are asking you, "Hey, what's wrong?" And you want to respond, and you can't, but you can see them up there asking you, "Hey, what's wrong?" But it's not like that, because I couldn't respond. And people knew something was wrong, but I would never tell people honestly. I'd lie to them and say, I'm fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is people say we're fine. Are you really fine? No, because look at Chris Farley, look at what's his name? God, Robin Williams.
Robin
Think
Williams.
about it.
Yeah.
All them people there that looked like they were the happiest people in the world. We had no idea what they were dealing with on a daily basis. And it was just crazy. And even that's even easy thing too. Just call somebody you haven't seen in a while. Hey man, you doing okay? That call can make them feel day right there. Just make them so happy to hear from somebody that they feel like they're in the moment, or they're a person. And even random people just saying hello to people. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I like your shirt. There, right there, boom. You could have made somebody's day right there just by saying, "Hey man, I'm digging your shirt. I like what you got going there." And you can sometimes read the emotion on people's faces that they're going through rough stuff. And like, there's people told me some crazy stories. Like, had a guy tell me he died for 15 minutes on the table. We were discussing this actually the other day with my wife's friend's husband, and I were talking, because he said he heard a similar story, the same thing. Guy got to the morgue and he just popped up like the Undertaker. He just sat right up. I was like, dude, that had to be some crazy shit right there. Because think about that, because he's technically dead at this point, and then he shoots back up all of a sudden. Like, what are you supposed to think? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And and I had a woman that was on here second week named Brandy, fantastic lady. How the hell she's still alive? I have no clue, bro. She has no stomach, no large colon, missing 6 feet of her smaller colon, and she's had 16 rounds of chemotherapy, and this woman's still going.
Jesus.
That you're telling me, and then she describes in this episode, she's telling me, yeah, Pete, I died for 5 minutes on the table. It's like, what? Hold up, huh? What did you just say? She's like, and she describes what it's like too. She's like, it's real quiet. I didn't feel any pain, and the voice came to me, and there was a light talking to me, and everybody says all that kind of stuff and thinks, oh, it's just hogwash. You tell me how you explain what she just described to us. Then it's the similarities to that other people talk about. It's like it's just crazy. Right, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, sitting in this seat, you never know what you're gonna hear from these people. I had a Columbine shooter survivor on, and she was like, she was 6 feet away from this person, Bryce. I kid you not. She said she could see the guy's whites of his eyes, see that he was dead inside, basically. And she watched somebody get shot in front of her, and it was just insane. Like, these are the things that people are telling me, and it's like it seems like all the time it always happens to me. Like, people tell me the most random things ever. They come up to me and just start telling me random things, and it's just like, man, like, people don't even understand. I'm like, there's some things they tell me that I just don't even know how to process. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And it's crazy, man. It's just crazy, Pete. And then you're looking at people from a distance, and you see them struggling, and it's like, how can I help them better? And I think that's really what we need to start doing, is educating people on how we can help each other instead of attacking each other and calling each other's names and like bullying people because they're different, and things like that. It's crazy, man. Like, people don't understand like how words can hurt. And I've always taught my kids the same thing. I said, just think about the last thing you said to somebody was, because if they're not here tomorrow, how are you going to say you're sorry?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kids are also just kind of terrible. Like, thinking back to like my experiences, like in.
Did you get picked on a lot as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Is it because you're a bigger guy?
Yeah, exactly.
I got it too. Trust me.
Yeah,
I got it too.
Like,
I agree.
And a lot of that shit really like sticks with you and just like gets ingrained. Like, there's one specific thing, and it's really messed up. But so I grew up like super poor and whatnot, and parents with like a bunch of drug issues and all that. Yeah. And I was a single child for a while, and there was a period of time where like I just straight up wasn't allowed to hang out with other people, like, because my parents were that like worried that like, oh, if we let our kid hang out with other kids outside of what he's gonna leave, mandatorily has to do at school, not that I was gonna leave, but that I was gonna tell someone that they were like doing meth, and then like that was gonna be it. like and yeah, so it wasn't
a kid though, so
yeah, exactly. Be like, oh well, my mom likes needles. Like, just like casually dropping that, like hanging out, like playing with Hot Wheels.
Enjoys needles. What does your parents enjoy? My parents like chess. Oh, okay. I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Did your daddy ever heat up stuff on a spoon too? Like,
oh no, no, that's crazy. Yeah, did you actually get you've seen that kind of stuff happening, and you're just as a kid trying to process it? You're like, man.
Yeah, no, and I knew it was fucked up because like there's a lot of like violence and stuff in the home and whatnot, and like random people coming in and out. We were like constantly getting kicked out of places. There was a period of my life where we just like lived in like motels. Like, we just fucking bounced from motel to motel. Lived in a car for a while with my mom while my dad was in jail. So like, yeah, it was a bunch of messed up stuff. But
that's rough, man. I'm sorry you had to deal with all that, dude. It really is. I mean, it's not going to change it, but at the same time, that's just fucking crazy to hear, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
So yeah, but we grew up super poor, and so I kind of had whatever I could get for clothing and whatnot, and that's like that makes you a prime target for like being bullied alone. And then I was also fat once I got into middle school, because that's when my parents started getting clean and whatnot and starting to get in control of their lives and whatnot. Yeah, and so I remember I had this red Billabong pullover sweatshirt. And for some reason, this one asshole kid at school decided to call me Bryce the Big Red R word. And it was, and it just, everyone latched onto it just because I was a big kid that was wearing a red pullover sweatshirt. I would have thought
they would have said Kool-Aid Man, honestly. But
right? Right?
Like, you used another original. You could have used that. You could just continue to repeat that. I don't know about that.
No,
that's
just one to go for the alliteration, I guess. But it was messed up. And that point, stuck with me enough that one, I don't ever wear pullover sweatshirts. Haven't ever again in my life since middle school.
Yeah.
And two, I don't wear red. Like I don't wear red ever.
Luckily, you don't have any sports teams that you like a red, then, huh?
Right? Yeah.
It's like, oh, does that come in white? I have a problem. Childhood trauma.
Yeah. So yeah,
Emotional damage is what you want to insert right there when I said.
Yep.
No, man, I get that. The kids are horrible, man. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
And like it's so much worse than it was before now. Think now, because now you have the internet, you're able to reach so many other people and attack them mentally. And you hear these kids committing suicide and all these things because these kids are bullying them online. And it's like it's just crazy, man. And it's just gotta stop. We gotta stop being like stop attacking each other as people. It's just what's the point behind it? What good are you gonna gain sitting there making somebody else feel terrible about yourself? Nowhere, because you're gonna sit there, traumatize them, they're gonna deal with a bunch of issues the rest of their life. And it's just like I said, it goes back to think about what you say to somebody, because if they're not there the next day, there's no hey, I'm sorry. You have to live with what you said to someone, and that's the hardest part of it all. It's like, it's great that people want to, it's cool to pack jokes, don't get me wrong, as long as you're in the right circle of people, but it's just God, man, those Call of Duty lobbies in the 90s, some of these kids would never survive, man.
Yeah.
And they all like, oh, what does that mean? I'm like, trust me. God, we were vicious. God.
Yeah. As soon as people load in, and it's just like instant racism.
Oh, they were looking at me.
Oh,
that's because I was starting half that stuff, getting crazy. Like, I'll admit, I was the first one to tell you that I was a terrible person. I was not the most pleasant person to be around like I am now. I was horrible. And I admit it. I know I was bad. Then I slowly start replaying the past in my head, and it's just like so many things that stem from one thing, and it's just crazy. And like I said, the whole thing with my mom, it's like I didn't realize it affected me as much as it did until I started talking to somebody that understood it, And I do therapy, and don't get me wrong, therapy works for me, not for everybody. I get it, not preaching for everybody to do it, but she better explained it to me that's a lot of times what it is. And then anytime I get in a situation I feel like I'm going to be abandoned, I really go in the defensive, like fast. I'll go straight just defensive mode. And it's just a reaction I have. And I've been working on that too, and things like that and stuff and it's crazy, man. It is. It really is. And that's a great thing. It's a lot of people, when you ask them, what do you know about mental health? Anxiety, depression, PTSD are probably the only three things you hear a lot of people say. Well, what about the rest of these things like BPD and a bunch of these other ones that people deal with? And there's so many. It's hard to, because Dr. Tibb and I were talking about, he said that when I want to learn something, to focus on learning that, because he said that it's such a wide, broad topic that if you were to try and do it, you'd be working that for a while there. He's like, you're going to be doing that for a long period of time. So, and that's great, because that's the nonprofit. The video that plays right before I start is called Podcast Prevention. They're trying to raise mental health awareness, basically. So, I got with them and another friend of mine. He does an addiction podcast, Keegan. He brought the idea to me and was telling me about it and stuff like that and all this other stuff. And it's great somebody's finally saying something about this, because at this point it's just getting ridiculous, and it's nice to see all these people are advocates, but what are you doing really at the end of the day is the real question. And I know it sounds like you're being confrontational, but you're really asking, what is it you're doing for me? What are you doing to try and make this problem become a solution? We need to figure out what we need to do and educate the younger kids and then like stuff like this. And what Adriana said this morning, she had a friend that does education. She said at 5 years old, she can already notice that people are going to be in, because she does a recovery home for addicts and stuff like that. And she works a lot with a lot of those people trying to get through recovery and things. And she said at 5 years old, you can notice certain trends that kid is going to be right in that place where she's at now. And that's crazy. Think about it. 5. Damn. They're not 6. They're 5 years old. If you can already start noticing patterns, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So two things that I want to touch on with
go right ahead, brother.
That you were talking about.
The floor is yours.
So first thing with like the kids and everything, like making sure that, current generation is like up to date and like understanding of mental health awareness and all that stuff. Like that's one thing that JT from Hawthorne Heights was talking about as well. Like it's like that growing up as emo kids and whatnot, especially, we understand like that it felt like we were all alone. But then as we got older, we realized that we're not alone and we have people that we can reach out to and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was one thing that he said was that like we need to do our best to take care of the kids, like to help them understand that sooner than hoping that they make it to be adults to then understand that, oh hey, we're
JT,
not
reach
alone.
out.
Like,
We want you right here. We want you right where Bryce is at. Okay, we'd love to have you. I'm serious.
I'll shoot him a text message and be like,
you got his
no,
call.
I don't have his number.
Look at
That'd
Bryce
be
doesn't know how to network.
wild.
We need to teach him how to network with people. Like JT, what's your contact information? I got a guy that I'm going to talk to anyways about these things.
Oh man.
But that's awesome though that he has that, they had the same thought process too, man. I don't think enough people. I think we need more voices on it. So
oh yeah, totally. The other thing I wanted to bring up, you were talking about how therapy is not for everyone and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, therapy might not be for everyone, but it also may also be a thing of the therapists that you're trying to use may not be for you as well. Like that's one thing that when I first got into therapy that I had to kind of navigate. I went through 3 therapists until I got one that I was good. Like
that's why I tell people too. Some people go through 5 or 6. I mean, guys, I think it's what it is. They get to the one and then they get discouraged. That's the great thing about therapy now is that these televisit apps and things. The one I use, you could kick them right away. I don't agree with them. It's nothing against them. They understand exactly how it is. If you're not, you guys don't feel like you're getting somewhere, or you feel like they're not the one for you, so boot them to the side. And it's no hard feelings. They know how it works. They're the first ones to tell you that we may work well together for a bit. And if you feel like we're not getting anywhere and you want to go. There's no hard feelings. It's understandable because like he just said, he went through 3 people to get to someone. I went through 2 to get to someone.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, man.
Even if you're with someone for like years, even don't feel afraid to like switch it up to a different therapist. If you feel like things are getting stagnant and you're not getting the help that you are like wanting from that relationship with that person, you can totally be like, hey, I think I need to try someone else, get a new perspective on it. Like,
and they won't be offended. They understand exactly. They're the ones that tell you in the beginning that it's like, hey, listen, if this ain't working for you, let me know. And we can part ways and you can find somebody. And my wife asked me the same thing too. That's the first question she asked. I thought it was weird at first. And she was like, yeah. So are you feel like they're doing something, And I was like, it's kind of a strange question. But the first lady I talked to, it became really evident that it was just, we weren't getting anywhere. It was just, she was just there, wasn't offering any suggestions, was real quiet. It's like, and that may work for some people. That style may work for people. For me, it was like, no, this ain't working for me. And, and I called them, I'll let the people know, hey, I got to switch. I want to try something different. And they'll have everybody listed on there. And it's so great with televisits. I don't have to leave the house. I'm a hermit. I don't like leaving my house at all. And maybe because of my cancer, I just started realizing that that's one of our traits is that we like our home is our little sanctuary. Well, yep, that's me. Mole man. See what Bryce is dealing with over there? That's usually what I'm in. Darkness. My mom said it to me several times. She's like, you live like a mole man. No, I just don't like the light.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome you say that though, because it's better for more than one person to say it. I could say it 1,000 times, but you just said the same thing. It may take a few times for people to get to there. Keep trying. You never know. It just has to find that person that clicks with you. And that's what I tell a lot of people when I talk to them, because one guy had asked me about it. He's like, I'm thinking about doing therapy. I says, okay, if you think about doing it, give it a shot. Just keep in mind, you may have to go through a couple to find somebody that really, really meshes with you. Like, don't get discouraged, just like anything you do, just like, you're learning music or you're learning this, you're learning that. Don't get discouraged, man, because it's a rough road. No one said it's easy. And depending on what you're dealing with, it could be rough, like childhood traumas and things like that. People deal with, like my wife, she has CPTSD, which is a whole nother level of things, stuff like that. And it's crazy, man. Like there's just things that happen, and just be prepared. If you're the loved one on the other side, which I'll have a girl next week actually coming on at 10 a.m. She's advocating for people that are the loved ones that deal with the people that have the problems. And it's like, that's great. You're right. There's 2 sides to every story, Yeah. Okay. It's great to hear the person that has the problem, but what about the people that have to be around them 24/7? Like your loved ones, your wives, your children. They're the ones that have to deal with the effects of what's going on.
Right.
And sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And, and it's hard for us as sufferers to explain that to people. But my wife, she understands a lot of this stuff. So she does her own stuff, and things like that. So she has a better understanding on how things go. And it's been great because like, at least somebody understands what I'm dealing with, and it's nice to have like-minded people like yourself. And then I can't think of his name, how he says his name, Tanis from Life's Lost. I know they're a mental health band or something like they do a bunch of songs like mental health. He's he and I are discussing getting together to record too, and stuff like that. And it's nice to have more voices. And you have like spirits out there, and they have their own little Facebook group where they have people to help out each other and things like that.
Right.
And it's so great to have all these people to do that. So that's why I'm trying to bring them here, so we can all together join the same message that mental health needs to be talked about way more than it already is. Because this is crazy, man. Like, don't be what is it I read the other? Don't be a statistic, be a survivor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You don't want to be that statistic on that list. Because I was doing a men's mental health episode, and the numbers are just staggering, man. Like 30 to like, I think it was 50, somewhere in that age range was the most likely to commit suicide. Next to, obviously 73 and up was obviously the higher one, which I know it sounds messed up when you say that, but it's just give you an ideal range. And then below it was, I think it was 20 was actually below than the 15 to 20 range, which was kind of weird because it was like, and to me, it was just weird because it's like you're looking at these numbers and you're trying to process all this. And it's like, damn, dude, like I'm in that age range where it's most likely it would happen. And it's just, the craziest thing ever. And if you haven't seen Teddy's episode, he had mentioned, I believe it was him, and mentioned that when his kid was the reason that he's still alive, or it was somebody I talked to was telling me that the kid coming around that corner at the last second is the only reason he's still standing there. I was like, dude. And it's powerful to hear that message because people don't realize that it takes one thing, man, to just cause somebody to, to feel like they're known again. And it was the kid that did it for him, and it's just someone calling you and someone saying, hey, man, how you doing? You doing okay? And they say, I'm good. It's okay. Don't pry. But if you feel like that answer is kind of an empty answer, like, don't be afraid to ask them, hey, man, are you sure you're okay? You can be honest with me. I'm not going to tell anybody. And, a lot of times when it comes to therapy, people think that you're crazy. You're not crazy. Your brain works at a different way someone else's does. And it's okay because, get the help. Like, stop. Don't be afraid to get help, man. Like, I can be honest with you. It could cause you a lifetime of trouble. And then you have to go back and live with all those situations. Like, there's things I still have to deal with that I owe apologies to a lot of people that I just was not the pleasant person. Sorry. I was not a pleasant person at all to be around. Like, I'm more pleasant to be around now than I was then. And I didn't see it because you don't see the opposite side of the mirror. So you're not on the other side looking in as this is going on. And someone else had told me that too. He said, yeah, man, when I was around you, you were the most toxic person ever. But, and it could just been the product of my environment and the things I dealt with and all the other kind of stuff. But, and I could sit there and blame everybody else, but I'm an adult. I need to take action and responsibility for my own actions. I am the one that avoided this problem for so long that it was a clearing issue that I didn't see. And, had I done something sooner, things probably would have been a lot different, And It's just crazy to sit there and tell people that, and they just look at you and they're just like, yeah, like, you were an asshole. I'm like, yeah, yes, I was. I was a certified asshole. Yes, I am. And they still tell people that nowadays, but I'm just honest. That's what it is. They can't handle honesty, Bryce. I can't help these kids with their honesty thing,
Yeah, man. Definitely prying into people.
Yeah.
To make sure they're getting help and they're actually okay is definitely a big thing. Because like, I know for me, when I shut down with my like depression and everything, it's more so like I feel like I don't want to be a burden to people.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I will just be like, yeah, no, everything's completely fine. And I think a lot of that does kind of stem from, like, again, childhood shit that I'm still, just kind of in the background working through.
Yeah.
Of just like, I don't want to be fucking weird or come off weird and push people away with that. So
and sometimes that's what you do, though. You push people away because you don't want them to get too close and find out the secrets.
Oh yeah. Then it becomes
crazy things that happen. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Because you're
So do you have a girlfriend now?
Oh yeah, no, I have a fiance. So
okay. Well, congratulations on that. But I'm saying she'd understand what we're saying, though. It's like she's got to try and trying to get to you without you pushing away, because she had a lot to understand, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then it helps that she also has, depression and anxiety issues as well.
Oh, okay.
So she has her own stuff, and then I have my own stuff, and we're
both what I'm saying. It's always nice when you have that person that understands exactly how things go, and how, it's just, I learn constant new things from my wife all the time, because what she deals with and things like that. And and I don't know much about her past, really don't. I've heard little bits about it from her mom and everybody else, and it's just wild. Like, It's wild. She's thought about coming to do an episode, but it would be one of those closed session type things because it's intense, man. Like some of this stuff that these people she dealt with is just crazy, and it's just like God, dude. Like I'm like, man, I thought I had it bad, but damn, that kind of level, and it's just like, whoo, and it's always better when you have a partner that understands these things. But there's some of them that don't. They're just like, why are you so upset? Let's go do something. Got to come outside. I'm like, I don't want to go outside. I don't like people. I really don't like people, honestly. I can barely stand people half the time. And people laugh. People laugh every time I say that. It's like, have you dealt with people on a regular basis? Trust me. Some of them you just want to scream.
Yeah. For me, I hate going grocery shopping. So I don't mind people in specific instances.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, going to shows, playing shows and stuff like that. That's all fine.
Yeah, because like, if I rush.
Yeah, totally. And I guess it's also just fun in general.
Yeah, definitely.
But like going to do like normal everyday adult things and having to deal with a large number of people, like there's times where I'll go grocery shopping and they'll be like, okay, everything's getting really dizzy now. I've been here only for like 15 minutes and I'm still not halfway done with my shopping, but my heart rate's going up and I kind of just want to be done with this. Like,
yeah, me and my wife, when we were dating, she'd had that problem though. She get in these crowds of people, man, and I'm talking, there's just people wall to wall, and I'm just like, and you could tell she didn't like it. She'll grab on my arm, and that's when she grabbed on. That's why I know, like, all right, we got to get going. We got to move. That was the signal to get out of there. Let's go. Let's get out. Get some space here. Get away from these people because some of these people just like crowd up, and I'm like, to me, it's okay. I'm used to it. Like I told her. She's never been to a concert before. So I was like, oh, I'll take you to so sometime. I said, just so you know, sometimes you're right there elbow to elbow with people. Like I was telling her when I went to, we were elbow to elbow with some people. I was like, my wife wouldn't like that. She'd probably start swinging at some people like, hey, man, you touched my arm the wrong way and just start going. And I get that too, man. It's horrible because then you feel like you're in a closed space and you get that kind of claustrophobia feel. And it's just, ugh.
Right.
And then you get the direct opposite. You get some people that are like want to be very confrontational, and it's like, I don't want to deal with you today, God.
Yeah,
I deal with that all the time. Like people always want to try, and they always think they want to yell at people. I'm like, I don't know what this thing is where you think you're going to start yelling at people. I do it sometimes myself, so I can tell you, I sound like an idiot half the time. My wife's like, so what are you yelling for? What's that? What good is that doing for you? And she'll literally bust my balls the whole time. What is that for? Why'd you do that? Why'd you yell at somebody? Did you feel good about it? No, then don't do it, huh? And she'll do it just ever so slightly, and I know already if I'm asking her a question, she's going to come straight to the point on it. Just like hit your smash mouth, go, yeah, well, you asked for it. So just remember that. She'll always tell me too. Remember, before you ask me, you really want the answer to this question, huh? I was like, yeah, I'm ready for it. And you think you're ready for it. And sometimes it's just, it's rough. It's rough, man. But I already know, like I said, I should learn by now, but I don't learn. I like to stick my fork in the light socket and just keep going to see what happens. Basically, it's a good analogy for it.
Right.
So, but you got any live shows coming up? Anything big coming up? I always see you posting about things all the time. I'm excited. Right. You can ever make it to Dallas for me so you can come see me?
So I know this next summer we're planning on doing just like West Coast touring, but next
we're not
year,
in the West Coast. I'm in the South. Okay.
Right,
So, anyways, he's like, well, I'm telling you for the tour. Yes,
damn it. Screw California. I don't care about California. Where's Texas? Right. Yeah.
He's like, we got to go to Texas Pete's there. We got to go get it. We got to go see it. Damn it. Come on now. Yeah. That's awesome though, man. What you guys planning on going like just straight down the coastline, just hitting different shows and things like that?
Yeah. So I think the plan right now is we're going to go as far north as like Seattle.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe like Seattle, Tacoma, Portland.
Yeah.
Obviously Eugene. That's where we're from.
Yeah.
And then, Sacramento, like LA,
San
I got
a
Diego.
friend in Sacramento, yeah.
So, and I think I want to, if we have time, we can make it work. I don't know how everyone else's schedules are going to be in the band at this point. We're going to be planning all this in February and getting all the shit like actually lined out.
Yeah, definitely.
But I would like to scoop up into maybe Arizona and then up into Vegas, Reno, and then back over through Bend in Eastern Oregon.
Vegas would be cool.
Yeah. So we have a lot of connections over in Vegas and up in Reno as well. So
that's good though.
Yeah. But awesome. That'd be
any
pretty
ideas
sweet.
You be with, or it's just going to be kind of like random spot shows and.
I had some plans to tour with a friend's band, and those have fallen through.
Why is that your band? Buddy, come on now. Don't be flaking out on him, damn it. Come on now.
God. My fucking oh no.
He's like, oh no, it's going down.
The facade is falling.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. Don't worry about that. It's just very professional.
Lean back in my
it.
chair way too far. That's what happened.
Well, that's awesome, man, that you plan on touring and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we have some other folks in mind that we've met and whatnot. We've had a couple people actually approach us and we're like, hey, we'd like to go on tour. I'm like, that's great. I don't really know you guys yet, though. So so we'll see how that goes.
For being ambitious, though. They want to they want to get the recording going. Come on now.
Totally.
And are they all the same genre as you, or is it kind of like mix up?
Yeah. They're all emo and emo adjacent bands. So.
Okay, so here's the real question for you, okay? Yeah. If you could open for any band you want, who would it be? I've asked Brian this, and I've asked David this question.
Fuck. So my top 3 bands are Underoath, Emery, and like Devil Wears Prada. I think we're not heavy enough to open up for Devil Wears Prada. We're on the like corner of being able to open up for Underoath because they have some lighter stuff as well. That'd be pretty cool. I just fucking love all those guys.
Yeah.
But like Emery would be
the number one.
Perfect. It would be fucking perfect.
David said Blink-182. Brian said, God, what did he say? I don't remember what he said exactly. I know one of the other band members had called in, Matt had called in, and he said Metallica.
Oh, damn.
That'd be awesome. But they're rock bands. You got to think the Alive and Stone's more rock.
Yeah.
David's like Blink-182 kind of. I don't know what you would even call that nowadays because everybody calls it, it's alternative punk. Oh, who cares, man? It's music. Shut the hell up and listen to it.
Right.
And things like that too. And then me and him were talking about that for a bit. And I asked him, I said, sorry, man, if you could pick anybody open for, who you'd be? And he, like I said, the one guy said Metallica. I was like, Metallica, damn. Just think of that. Damn, that would be an amazing show to be a part of, because they always go with all these speed names and things like that. And that'd be so cool, though.
Right. Yeah, I know the other guys in the band. Obviously,
one of them said Backstreet Boys, didn't they?
No, I mean, the Nichols are like huge fans of Silverstein.
Yeah,
and I also like Silverstein, but like that'd be pretty dope to open for them.
That'd be cool too.
MCR, of course, would be like phenomenal. But
he's like anybody at this point, man. Just get us out there. Like I said, I'd see big things coming, man. It'd be awesome. I'd be like, hey, I knew that guy. I know him. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing everybody's telling me. Like, well, when you get famous, I could say I knew you. I'm like, you could, or I could just act like I don't know you. I mean, whichever way you want to do this. I would have stuck up like, I don't know that person. Who are you talking about? What do you mean? Huh? Who the hell are you?
Outside a restaurant or something, like, Pete, it's me. And you just look at him, just side eye, just just continue on.
Do you ever get that though? Since you're local to Eugene and everything, you go around, anybody ever run up to you and do that kind of thing?
Yeah, so
it's so surreal, isn't it?
Funny, yeah, it's a funny thing, honestly. Like, so every year of our band, I've always set like at least like personal goals for the band.
Yeah.
Like I usually have like small goals and stuff, and then I'll have like one goal that I deem is like this could happen, but like it's gonna be really fucking like slim chance if it ever did. Yeah. Last year, that goal was to have like some people that aren't like friends of friends and aren't like in other bands that would recognize us out in the wild.
Yeah,
and we had that happen 3 times last year.
There you go.
And it was fucking wild. And like one of them was at Jamba Juice. Like,
hey guy, I'm trying to get my smoothie here. Okay, guy, back up. All right.
No, it was the employee. Like I was I was ordering, and I was with my brother, and we ordered some smoothies, and then the person like taking our order and everything, I was like paying and like doing the tip process and everything. They're like, also, I'm really sorry, but I really like your guys' music. I've seen you guys live a few times.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well, thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Hold up. Okay, so can I get some free Jamba Juice here? What's up, man? Give me the employee discount here. Come on now.
Yeah, that shit is like, it honestly like makes our day anytime.
I bet it does, man. It's like, got to make your day. Here's somebody like, say, man, hey, I seen your show. I love your show, and people tell me the same. I get people come to me and say, oh man, I appreciate what you're doing. Like one person literally told me, shout out to Chelsea, by the way, doll, love you. She had come to me and said, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. It means a lot to people. And everything. And I'm like, yeah, and it really is. And I'm not doing much. All I'm doing is just sitting here talking to somebody. Like, I'm no expert of this stuff. I learn things new every day, and I try to learn as much as I can. And, I'm just trying to give people a place to be heard, man. Because at this point, it takes one story to inspire another story. and stuff like that. People are going to hear your story and be like, hey man, no, I want to go do it. Or somebody else will hear somebody else. Well, I want to go do it too now. Everybody's like, well, I hope. I'm like, that's what happens. I'm telling you, this is how these conversations generally get brought up. And somebody's seen it, somebody's heard it, somebody said, hey, I watched it, and hey, I saw this, hey, I saw that. And it's a lot of word of mouth too when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And they're like, yeah, I've seen it. And I do like post it in Facebook groups and I'll tell people about it. And a lot of people are like, man, I watched that other episode the other day of your show. I liked it. It's really good. I like how you're really just casual. I'm like, well, how else did you want me to be? I can't be a super dick all the time. I mean, it's hard. Okay. Damn it. All right. My ego has to be put away at some point. Jesus almighty. Okay. But no, but it feels good, man. It's the same feeling. It's like people say, oh man, we appreciate what you're doing. I'm like, honestly, to me, I don't feel like I'm doing anything but just listening to people and having a conversation about something that needs to be talked about. And obviously 2025 of June says there's a demand there. I think the last person I booked was a 2-time Amazon bestseller.
Oh, nice.
So I'm talking to like everybody, dude. Like I got Lives Lost. I think his name's Tanis. I think that's how he says his name. But he and I are talking about doing something coming up here in either December or January. I told him to hit me back with some dates. I know Spirits and I are trying to get something going. It was just because Mondays were the only day I had time on the network to do it, but I could always do Patreon episodes now. So I could set up separate recording sessions because this is a whole separate studio on it. That's how big I am. I have to have my own studio here, ego time. Just in case y'all see exploding on the screen. But yeah, that's what he told me. He said, I need to clean it up a bit, but he wasn't wrong. I mean, like I said, shout out to Tom, by the way. Thank you so much for this opportunity to even be here. Because if it wasn't for Oracle, who I'm networked with, I've never had a chance, man. This thing started as an idea in August, dude, and already I'm here. This is how far I've gotten, and it's the sky's the limit. It's crazy, man. Nice. And had I would have told myself this a year ago, this is what I've been doing, I've been like, yeah, okay, man, that's funny. Nice joke. Okay. Mm-hmm. It is, man. It's crazy. But I get to meet great people like yourselves and, everybody else I get to meet. It's always nice and network new people and things like that. And you and I talk on a regular basis anyway. So we're always messaging each other things. So we just need to get to the memes part. Don't worry. I got some special ones.
Right.
Well, that's awesome, man.
I start sending pictures of my cat. And that'll work.
There you go. Oh. Okay. Everybody. Now we got the weird cat photos coming out. There's a funny story goes with that. There's a girl I knew. And this guy was hitting on her, and she says, I like rocks. And you could believe what happened next. It's just pictures of rocks.
Oh, God.
And, you could tell she wasn't all there upstairs, and there's no disrespect to anybody that has a mental disability like that. You just had a feeling like they didn't understand the question that was being asked. And she generally answered your question. She likes rocks. I'm like, did you ask her if it's geology she likes or whatever? He's like, no. She just said she likes rocks. I was like, okay, buddy. So we just mess with him every time. Like, hey, man, I like rocks. God. And he just start laughing. All of a sudden, just start cracking up. I'm like, well, dude, you didn't continue the conversation further. You didn't ask her, hey, do you like, the geological formations? There's so many other questions that could have gone with that.
Right. God.
But all right, man. We're gonna get ready to wrap up here in a few minutes. Did you want to call out anybody? Fellas, the rest of the band, how y'all? I'm sorry y'all couldn't make it. It was. I'm glad you had Bryce though for this hour. It was great.
Everyone else in the band's working and whatnot. So
tell them, damn it, you can't work. There's no need for that. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll definitely keep in touch about the 30th and let you know. I think that's the date we decided, and that whole thing like that and everything else like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You want to give me a shout out before I cut you off?
God. Shout out. I mean, always shout out Aldrin. Like if he's still hanging out here, always. Like Aldrin, Vampire Champagne, these cursed hands. Shout out to Spirits. Definitely. Always super good. Our other best friend bands, we got Tarantula Trust Fund. They're a Midwest emo. And then we got Misconnection. They're also another little punk band from Eugene area. So,
all right. Well,
yeah, just support local music. Be aware. Go try out therapy. Like, talk to people at the very least. Talk to your friends. Like, always check up on your friends. So,
he said it, not me. Just so y'all know. See, that's why I'm pointing to him. See, getting this whole camera thing. That's why he said it. I didn't say it. He said it.
You are never alone, or even as alone as you think you actually are. Like, there's always like somebody that you can reach out to. So, and you're never going to be a burden. Like, and if you end up being a burden to somebody because you're like, hey, I'm feeling really depressed, then those are the kind of people you don't really need to be hanging out with anyway. Like,
couldn't say it any better myself, man. Couldn't say it any better myself. Y'all heard what he just said. See what I'm saying? It's just not me saying it. It's the same thing. You know, like I said, you always can reach out to me, Bryce. We all answer people. It takes us a minute, but we'll answer you, for sure.
Yeah, hell, our band DMs are always open for people that need help.
He responds all the time to me, so don't worry, guys. If he answers me, I'll answer you, okay? All right, guys, that's going to wrap up another exciting episode of Pete versus Anxiety. Bryce, once again, I welcome you so much coming, man. It's great. Like I said, I'll get back to you about the Battle of Band thing. We'll get all that figured out, but we'll have him back again because it's always a pleasure to have him as always. So, buddy, all right. Well, you take care of yourself, guys. And like I always say, it always costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you can do could save somebody's life or hell, even make somebody's day, guys. This is Pete signing off. Later, guys.
Bye.